Welcome to my shop, Pure Vision, here in Simi Valley, California.
The car that we're working on currently in the shop is going to be one of our big deal halo cars for SEMA this year. It's a '66 Mustang that we have dubbed the Martini Mustang.
We're going to do a little art project. I have a very favorite race livery called the Martini livery. Now, a lot of people know them for European road racing, involved a lot with Porsche. So I'm kind of playing artistic license, imagining that Martini and Porsche got together, had some talks, and Ford said, let's send a Mustang over and let's build a cool car and you can send back to us info. We've got a lot of great parts in place and we've got some very special pieces that's gonna make this car very unique.
There's never really been a Martini racing Mustang.
Welcome to Pure Vision, and I want to introduce you to the Martini Mustang. Hi, I'm Steve Strope, and you're here at my shop, Pure Vision in Simi Valley, California. And we're starting a new project that is pretty adventurous. We're going to try and get this thing done in a very short period of time compared to our normal builds. Usually we'll turn out one of these gems in about a year, maybe over a year, and we're looking at doing this within about a 5-month period, which is, well, pushing it. But we've got a lot of great parts in place and we've got some very special pieces that's gonna make this car very unique. First and foremost is the engine. It's actually a motor that was developed by Ford in the early 60s to go Indy racing. In fact, the motor won Ford the Indianapolis 500 in 1965, I believe. Same motor, it is their 4-cam Indianapolis motor that we're gonna adapt to put in this 1966 Mustang. We're also going to do a little art project. I have a very favorite race livery called the Martini livery. Now, a lot of people know them for European road racing, involved a lot with Porsche. So I'm kind of playing artistic license and imagining that Martini and Porsche got together, had some talks, and Ford said, you know what, let's send a Mustang over like a Shelby R, a race model, and we'll send you one of these Indy motors because we'd like to see it used for some other forms of racing. We'll let you do the marketing and use your famous stripes on it, and let's build a cool car and you can send back to us info for how the motor's doing out on the road. Underneath the car is where the new is going to meet the old. Brand new engineered suspension, front and rear. It is going to be a very big deal out in the Ford world. We're hoping to unveil it. We've already got a spot with a really awesome company called ARP. They specialize in high-end fasteners and bolts. We're going to be putting the Martini Mustang in their booth and unveiling it at SEMA. Who knows, maybe we'll be up for an award or two with the car. I'm kind of hoping because it's going to be very, very cool. So here's the beginning of the Martini Mustang project. Basically a 66 Mustang shell with some fiberglass components from Meyer Racing. We've already moved back the firewall about 3 inches from the factory spot. We've removed the shock towers in anticipation for the Detroit speed suspension and that rather wide Indianapolis motor. The next time you see this car, we better have a bunch going on. We should have the roll bar in, the rear wheel tubs in. We should have, hopefully, the front suspension mocked in and the motor and tranny set in also. There should be a large amount of fabrication the next time you come in and visit. Now we're just about a week out before we send this out to paint, and we still have a lot of fab to do, but we've done a lot. And one of the big things is this motor is in. Now, this is a very rare Indy 4-cam motor. Very, very cool piece. We've had to do all the fiddling around to get this thing to sit in here. We've made some really cool motor mounts. The big deal was getting it set in, and also you can see how tight the lower valve covers are to the Detroit Speed upper shock tower. It's been some precision installing getting this thing to fit just right. Let's show you around the inside and show you what work's been done and give you the general idea of what that's going to look like. So the first thing we see is this Momo Prototipo wheel, which is actually very reminiscent of the Porsche 904, 906 steering wheel. And since Martini was heavily involved with Porsche, I tried to keep a sprinkling of Porsche stuff. So this is on a really cool quick release lever. Now this column, obviously a straightforward race car steering column, it's from Flaming River. I liked it because there was no turning signal stalks, no other things going on. Real straightforward and purpose use. The turn signal switch, I'm actually going to modify the shifter arm. There'll be a different arm that's actually going to have a little stalk on here, and there's going to be a toggle switch that you either go click it this way for left-hand turn signal or that way for right-hand turn signal. So your turning switch is going to be right here on the shifter. Now, the Shelby had a very simple gauge panel, and I tried to keep that, but I went with a very big tack in the center. Then off-side of it will be a speedometer, and then fuel, oil, and water. And these will all have a very different face on them. They're all being done with us with Autometer and Redline Gauge Works. They'll have a chrome bezel, but we're gonna change the font on the face. That's what Redline does for me, is custom make those gauges. So we start back here with the Detroit Speed housing, and then this is called a third member. This holds the gears in it. Now this was made by the company that also makes the transmission, CR. This has a pump built into it that we're gonna have lines that come out of it and back to it that are gonna follow along the frame here, and they're gonna come over to this. Now this is a little B&M aluminum cooler that we're using as what we call a diff cooler. It'll help cool down the temperature of the gear oil that's in here. And we of course made all the mounts, notched the frame, and it's really cool. It's all on quick release pins, and we built this little screen here to protect it from that side. This screen will mount in here, and this will protect the fins of the cooler from any rock chips being thrown up, or gravel, or who knows what, by the tires.